Hi, everybody. Just past Memorial Day weekend here in the United States, and I had a fairly interesting one. I watched my fair share of baseball, like I've mentioned before, even though I have many problems with the sport right now. I can't give up on it completely. I still watch my fair share of that, as well as other sports, hockey playoffs, the basketball playoffs. And another form of sport that's gone down for me lately, motorsports, but I still watch the Indy 500 and a finish for the ages. Felix Rosenqvist edging David Maluka's closest finish in Indy history. That was quite the race. Though a bit of a downer in motorsports, the death of Kyle Busch, the untimely one, caught pneumonia, then sepsis came from that, and he died at the tender age of 41, and was actually younger than I am, believe it or not. So that was pretty sad, but remembering some other good parts to the weekend, I listened to on satellite radio, I listened to a listener-generated top 100 songs by these guys, the Beatles, my favorite band, and also listened to something else on satellite radio as well, top songs of May and June in the 60s, and featured some work by another one of my favorite groups, the Beach Boys. And then I went to a graduation party for this guy, Kellen Berenson, the quarterback of the state champion football team of the Dakota Ridge Eagles, seen here playing baseball. He also played basketball at Dakota. Interesting guy, and very humble, just like his parents are as well. But I cannot forget about what Memorial Day weekend is truly about. And I know it gives people a chance to celebrate the unofficial beginning of summer, and at least most of the time warmer weather's coming. I get all that, but Memorial Day isn't about that, and it's not about sales. And that I can't emphasize enough. It's not about sales, it's about remembering those that were lost in wars, those soldiers who died protecting us. And one that hits especially close to myself and my family is the loss of this guy, Clarence Elmer Dalton Jr. Or Junior Dalton, and he went by JD for short. Now, he and my dad were high school classmates. And my dad, for those who are unaware, has only one eye. The reason he has only one eye, at high school football practice at the old Gilpin County High School in his senior year, that's up in the mountains and foothills west of Denver, Blackhawk Central City area. But anyway, at a football practice at the old Gilpin County High School, there was a fumble on a play. And my dad and J.D. Dalton were scrambling for the ball, among those scrambling for it. And J.D. inadvertently poked my dad in the eye. In the midst of the scramble, J.D.'s finger got my dad in the eye, and unfortunately, it ultimately led to my dad losing his eye. And J.D. felt horrible about it, apologized profusely, and then a year later, after my dad was initially poked, he was in the hospital, having his eye taken out, and J.D. came to visit him. Came to visit my dad before he enlisted in the Army. And this was in the 60s, in the midst of the Vietnam War. As my light just went down there, but I straightened that out, and here's a picture of J.D., and here he is in his Army uniform. I went to Vietnam bravely and did his duty. He was a plow dozer operator. And one day in November of 1967, J.D. Dalton, at the very tender age of 19, was operating a dozer, like I said, and another dozer had cut down a tree, and that tree fell right on top of the dozier JD was operating. And thus, that was the end of JD's life. Just right then and there. And here is his grave. There you see it. Died November 7th, 1967. Didn't even make it to 20 years old. And I've always wondered, I mean, as sad as the accident was between him and my dad that caused my dad his eye and obviously changed his life forever, I mean, as guilty as JD felt about it, I think there could have been a friendship there. I mean, my dad fully understood it was an accident, and I mean, he was very forgiving, and like I said, JD was very forthright about it, and I wonder what kind of friendship there could have been between JD and my dad. I wonder what kind of friendship I could have had with the guy. A number of my friends I've made in the past, and some even today, are a lot older than I am, and I think I might have gotten along well with JD. Wish I could have had the chance to shake his hand and, hey, proud of you for doing what you did. But never got the chance. And that's what Memorial Day is. It's about remembering those who lost their lives in wars, and doesn't matter if you agree with every war the U.S. has been in, and I'll be honest, I can't say I agree with every war the U.S. has been in, but I can't argue with the sacrifice that was made by these soldiers, whether that was in World War I, World War II, Civil War, Vietnam. I mean, whatever it was, I mean, these soldiers gave up the best years of their lives. Ages 18 to 25, or whatever their ages were, when it's very common for people to be out partying and enjoying life to the fullest with all the energy to do so. Number of men and women gave up that part of their lives to serve the United States, and I think those who serve other countries too deserve credit for that as well. And unfortunately, J.D. Dalton was one who lost his life far too soon. Made the ultimate sacrifice, paid the ultimate price at the age of 19, and that certainly hits my dad pretty hard. It's my mom hard too, even though she never met him. And it's me hard as well, even though I obviously never met him. That was more than a decade and a half before I was born. So remembering J.D. Dalton and remembering all that have given their lives on the recently passed Memorial Day weekend, and remembering them all the time, I just can't forget what Memorial Day weekend is really about, and always should be about. Thank you for watching. Talk to you down the road. And for now, I'll say, take care, everyone.